Hey guys, it's Brad. Thanks for checking out the video. So, I want to ask you this question. What is the most painful part of probate for you so far? I know you're looking for some answers here and you're looking for help to dealing with this. We're really sorry to hear about the death of your loved one. And now you're stuck picking up the pieces and trying to make sure that everyone, you're trying to keep the whole, as the executor or the administrator, you've got a lot of burden on your shoulders. You're trying to keep the whole family happy. You got a lot of people that really only care about the money, or maybe the one sister wants the necklace, but the other sister wants the necklace, and it all kind of brings you back to like childhood when you guys were fighting over toys and stuff, you know. That's a lot of burden on you as the executor. Plus, you don't know where half of this stuff is. Maybe your loved one kept good records and maybe they didn't. I don't know. But even if they did keep good records, you got to find all this. You got to make sure you covering all the bases. Was there extra money out there? For instance, we had a friend of ours and their father passed away, and years later they found out that there was actually a life insurance policy that he had taken out a long time ago, and there was some money in it. They didn't even know about it. They went through the whole probate process and they never found out about it until years later when this insurance company reached out to him and said, hey, your father had this insurance policy and we see that he died and you're the beneficiary. Like, where do we send you the check? This was like, he was ecstatic. He's like, oh, cool. Yeah, I get a check. And I told him, I was like, well, you need to be leery about that. Make sure that if he's sending you a check, that he's not asking you to send money back to him. Like, he's just going to they're going to deposit a check. And are they a legitimate insurance company? It turns out they were. It wasn't a big sum of money. It was a couple $1,000s or something, just really small. But he ended up getting a check for it. They never even knew about that during the probate process. They never knew that even existed. So you got a lot to deal with on your plate right now. And probably the most painful part is finding everything. And then probably the second to that is dealing with the stress of all the family members. And the third part is dealing with the legalities of it. I hope that you hired a probate attorney to do this. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. I would highly suggest that you hire a probate attorney to help you through the process. If your probate is very simple, the closing attorney that I use to close all of my transactions here in Georgia has actually assisted instances where there was a very simple probate. Maybe the house was the only asset and there was only one heir, which was the daughter, and or the son, or if it's pretty simple, then my closing attorney can actually handle the probate paperwork for you. He charges you a reasonable amount of money, and he'll file all that with the courthouse for you, and he makes it a lot easier on your plate. Now, if you have a lot more complicated probate situation, I highly suggest hiring a professional probate attorney. And if you need a referral to one, we would love to give you a referral. We know quite a few in the area that could help you out. Actually, we have one in particular that my closing attorney works very closely with. So if you're interested in selling the house, we can kind of coordinate the two of them together, and we can take it from the beginning all the way to the end and sell that house and sell the asset. So you got a lot on your plate, and I know you got a lot to deal with. And another thing that you may be worried about is, who's going to get what money and where's this going to go? And I don't like talking to my cousin Johnny because he's a jerk and blah, blah, blah. We've helped people with that in the past where we've almost like acted, where we've called Johnny and explained the situation and said, hey, this is what's going to happen. Susie's selling the house. Based on the will, you're going to get 20% of it. This is where the house is selling for. We need your sign off on this. And here's my attorney. Call my attorney, talk to my attorney. They'll explain everything to you. And we sort of act as that, almost mediator. I don't want to use the term mediator because that can get into a legal term, but more of a, hey, we're the buffer between Johnny and Susie, who have some beef between them and don't really talk much. But at the end of the day, the will says that Johnny gets 20%. So however much beef Johnny and Susie have, the will says that Johnny gets 20%. So at the end of the day, in order to get this deal done and sold and get this house sold and closed, we've got to talk to Johnny, and we have to be professional with him and talk to him, and then we'll let Susie know what's going on. And obviously through this whole process, we're working through an attorney to make sure everything is done legally. So that's another situation that can be painful in probate. Another thing is, what do you do with all the stuff, right? If there's a lot of valuable stuff, you should maybe look into doing an estate sale, or maybe you donate it. There's a lot of companies out there that will come take a lot of it, and they will donate them to charity. Maybe you want to sell some of it. We can refer you to some estate sale companies that we've worked with in the past. We can get you in touch with some really good charities who would take that burden off your back. And if it's a lot of junk and a lot of trash that you don't want to mess with, what we tell a lot of people in these probate situations is take what you want out of the house and just leave the rest behind. You don't need to worry about it. If you know that you want this thing and that thing and that thing, but all the other rest is just junk and you don't want it, nobody else in the family wants it, then just let us deal with it. We'll work that out as part of the deal. We'll clean the house out. We'll trash it out. We'll get rid of all the junk, and you don't have to mess with it. So I definitely encourage you to think about that. Is that worth it? Would that be a good benefit, and that you wouldn't have to mess with all this stuff? Another thing we've dealt with sometimes with probate situations is motor vehicles. There could be vehicles left. I myself am a car enthusiast. And for instance, there was a property we looked at 2 weeks ago, and the seller had inherited this house or whatever, and the car in the driveway was a Nissan 240Z, and that's actually, or it was a 280Z. I've been looking for one of those cars for a long time. We ended up not working out a deal on buying the house. I was going to include it in buying the house, but either way, I made him an offer on that car too, because I kind of wanted the car because it was the body was in pretty good shape. I didn't really care about the engine and the drivetrain because I was going to rip it all out and put a different engine and drivetrain in it, so that didn't matter to me. What mattered was the body clean and did not have rust, and in this case it didn't. So we made him an offer on it to buy the car too. We don't just buy houses, we'll buy other things. If you got a boat or anything like that, we can help you with all that. So please feel free to ask us. I know we buy houses, but we can help you with a lot of things. Another thing a lot of people don't know what to deal with is dealing with maybe contractors and finding a landscaper to mow the grass, or dealing with all that other stuff. There's so much on your plate to deal with. Just ask us. We'll help you. We've got so many networks and referrals to get you help. If you need a plumber, if you need a HVAC guy, if you need a landscaper, whatever, we can send somebody out, a tree guy. I have so many people in my phone, so many contacts in my phone that I can give you the number to, or I can call them and get them to come over to the house and take care of X, Y, and Z for you. If you need that as part of the probate process, don't hesitate to ask. We'd love to help you. We're here as a resource for you, and we're not only here to buy the house, but we're here as a resource to help you. We even, unfortunately, we had a house a few months ago where I'm still a little bitter about this, but I shouldn't be bitter. This lady had reached out to us about selling her parents' house. We made her an offer. Her and her husband declined the offer, but then they came back a week later and said, you know what, we'd like to accept your offer. And I said, great. And I sent him a contract, and boom, she disappeared. Never heard from her. She wouldn't answer her phone. She wouldn't answer emails. She wouldn't answer phone calls. I couldn't get them on the phone. So I had to void the contract out and anything. Anyways, 3 weeks later, a month later, she calls us back and says, hey, sorry, I didn't get back to you. I had another offer from another investor, and they offered me more money than you, and I decided to go with them, but then they bailed out of the deal, and then now I'm back to wanting to sell it again. So we said, okay, no problem. And she said, I'm kind of stuck here, like, I did this, and this with the probate, and it turned out that I did this wrong. And I said, oh yeah, we've dealt with that a lot. Call my attorney, so I called my attorney, asked him the question, and he relayed the answer to her and said, okay, you need to do X, Y, and Z. And this advice came from attorney, not from me. I called my attorney, consulted him, and he said, yeah, she needs to fill out this form and do this. So, I'm not an attorney. I can't give legal advice, but I'll refer you to my attorney. In this case, he did. She got the information she needed, and then we said, great, you know, are you still interested in selling the house? She said, absolutely. We said, great, well, our other offer still stands. She said, awesome. Send me the contract. We sent her the contract. Boom. She disappeared again. And you know what happened? We helped her out. We got her legal advice from our attorney. We helped everything out. We sent her the contract. We made it as easy as possible for her. And she ghosted us and she disappeared. And you know what ended up happening? She got another offer from it. She basically just pumped us for information, and she used that information, went to another investor, got them to offer her $2,000 more than what we had offered, and ultimately they bought the house from her for like $2,000 more than we had offered. So I'm a little bitter about that, just because we did so much to help this lady and so much to be courteous, but that's just my nature. I'm a nice person and I like to help people. And the same with my staff. You know, Missy on the phone that you're going to talk to, she makes a huge effort to make sure she's listening to you and really truly caring about you as a person and listening to what you need and helping solve your problems. That's why I hire the people I do, because they truly care about people and they're not just about a buck in their bank account. So anyways, this video is going long. We're 11 minutes now into this video. I really appreciate you checking out this video. I know there's a lot on your plate with probate. Do not hesitate to call us and ask us. We would be more than happy to help you with whatever questions you have. And if I can't answer your question, whether that's because I need to consult an attorney about it and I need to get you in touch with my attorney, or maybe I don't know the answer right then and there, I'm going to find out the answer and we're going to call you back and we're going to help you with your problem. So please don't hesitate. Just ask us any questions you have. And if we don't know the answer, we'll find the answer out and we'll do it as fast as we can. So thanks for watching the video. Really hope you enjoyed it, and good luck with everything.